You're ugly.
Hello, my pack, my tribe. Welcome to Howling After Dark. So, here's the deal. Normally, I would have a guest on the show or like a topic for the night or, such as paranormal news or true crime or what have you. I don't really have any of that tonight. So, what I'm going to do instead is a little bit different. I'm just going to talk. I'm going to tell you what I think about things. I'm going to tell you what I think about the paranormal field. I'm going to tell you what I think about where it is and where it's going. I do want to mention something though. Recently was DeBoer's Halloween Festival, And this year is actually the second year in a row that we were unable to go um, and be a presence there. Um, Not because we have a problem with anything, just simply because I had to work, um, which kind of sucks, but got to make that money, I guess. But I do want to give a shout out to them because I do know from past experience that they're awesome. Um, it really is like a family run deal, but it's growing by leaps and bounds from all I can tell. Um, the first 2 years that this is the fourth year now that we've got any involvement with them, but the first 2 years we were actually set up there as vendors. People could come and talk to us and check out the equipment that we use, which granted right now is not a lot. Um, a lot of the stuff that we use is actually legitimate phone apps, Big Bird Audio, um, that are actually legit, and that's a topic for a whole other show. But and we have some cameras and stuff too, and people can come check that out. They can talk to us. They can share their experiences, and sometimes even in more than one case, ask us for help, um, which we are more than happy to do, and it is free of charge, folks. So feel free to contact us at ghosthunters.weebly.com. We can also be found on the Paranormal Society's page. So if you have anything going on in your home and you don't know what to do about it, feel free to contact us. We are more than happy to talk to you and help you out, whether that be by doing a residential investigation and house cleansing or just putting your mind at ease. We're more than happy to do so. So, if you have any of that going on, hit us up. So, anyways, and once again, that's Ghost Wolf, Ghost Hunters, all one word, .weebly, WEEBLY.com. Um, you can also follow along on the official Ghost Wolf Radio website, which is ghostwolfradio2.weebly.com. We have a chat function in there, which is pretty cool. In fact, I'm about to go to the website right now and see if anybody's already on there. Once again, that's Ghostwolf Radio 2, number 2, .weebly.com. Anywho, so yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to Mr. Claude DeBoard and let him know that he's done a wonderful job. Last year we didn't go either, but that was because Akron kind of took control from Claude there for a bit, and he wasn't allowed to actually run things himself, and it just kind of turned into a mess. But we are very happy that he's back in control this year, and things are improving. So there you go. So I've had a few things happen to me paranormally recently. Um, I had an encounter while I was at work in the middle of the day. Um, and I didn't see it like I normally would. Instead, what happened is, and this is actually the second time this has happened. I was at work, and for those that don't know, or for one of a kind pet rescue, that's my quote unquote day job. Because I love animals and all that. But anyways, I was in one of the rooms. I was cleaning in one of the rooms, and clear as day, I hear a voice right in my ear call my name. Now, everybody at work that has been around for a while just kind of knows that the place is haunted. Nobody really talks about it except for, of course, me, who lives and breathes the paranormal. Um, so it's just kind of an odd thing, and it made me think and wonder how other people deal with that. Because I know, you know, that I'm not the only one that's ever experienced things at work. But, you're at work. You've got a job to do. You can't exactly stop what you're doing to freak out. At least, well, I guess a lot of people do that. But so it's just kind of a curiosity. So I'm posing that question to my listeners, and feel free to write me back. Once again, you can contact us through the official Ghost Wolf Paranormal website, which is ghosthunters.weebly.com. Go to the contact page, and you can contact me there, or you can find me on Facebook under Ghost Wolf J, and write to me there. Let me know how you would deal with that if you had a paranormal encounter at work. Um, okay, this is going to be kind of an out there thing, which I guess is saying something for paranormal talk show. But sorry, I needed a drink. Um, so I'm going to clue you in on how my day typically goes, and this will lead into this whole thing. So my job um, is a lot more than most people would think. I work in kennel at one of a kind, and a lot of people think that we have all the time in the world to do whatever we want, and it's an easy job. It is not. It's very physically demanding. Um, yes, we do walk the dogs, but there's a lot more to it than that. We've got to feed the dogs. We've got to medicate the dogs. We've got to clean the dogs. Um, Half the time, I'm lifting heavy stuff and moving it around um, because I'm one of the few guys that actually work there. Um, Not saying that women are weak. It's just when it's big, heavy stuff, who do they go to naturally? They go to the one guy that happens to be working that shift. So, um, but in any case, so it is very physically demanding, and most times at the end of my day, I'm physically beat. That's why there'll be long pauses in between episodes of this show, or between investigations, or between me being socially present on like Facebook or whatever. It's not that I don't care or anything like that. It's simply that I'm exhausted. And if I'm not online, if I'm not on Facebook or what have you, it's simply because I'm out. Physically, I'm just trying to relax and feel better so I can do it all again the next day. And I know that sounds like a lot of you out there, and bravo to you, really, because, I know how hard it is. So, typically what happens is, at the end of my day, I'll come home, I'll get on my little laptop here, and I'll go to like Hulu or Netflix or something, and I'll watch some shows. And the way I do it, and this is not really important, I'm just trying to illustrate my point. What I'll do is I'll like watch the shows that I actually want to watch, that maybe I've never seen before, or just haven't seen in a long time. Like when new episodes come out, I'll watch those first. And then when I'm getting ready to actually go to bed, I'll put on shows that I've seen like a gazillion times and use it kind of like background noise, because I need something going on in the background or I can't sleep, because I have really bad insomnia. And one of my favorite shows to do that with are the older episodes of Ghost Adventures, because I've seen them a lot. There is not one season I haven't seen at least 5 times, including the newest one, because I'll watch those episodes over and over again, because I like to do that initially just to try and catch things I didn't see before. Because, once again, I live and breathe the paranormal. So anyways, I was watching something from I think it was like season 9, which was like 6 seasons ago. And they were at the, what was the name of it? The St. James Hotel. It was the episode of the St. James Hotel. And I, once again, found myself catching something that I didn't catch the first time I saw it, or even the second or the third time. And the Ghost Adventures crew did not catch it during the investigation. But there's a scene where they're looking at footage from one of their static cameras, and like nobody's in the room, and there's some kind of mist or light anomaly that they visibly see, and they mention it on the show. What they didn't mention, or I don't know if they saw it later, like after the episode aired or anything, but I'm assuming they just didn't notice, is when you see this light anomaly, which kind of goes from above to below, but at an angle going from left to right. At the same time that crosses the screen, in the background, you see a shadow figure passing a window going in the opposite direction. So the light anomaly goes down, but towards shadow figure at the same time goes from right to left. And it was awesome that I caught that. And I'm sure everybody that watches that show as religiously as I do has had that, over the years, where they caught something that they didn't notice before and that the team didn't notice. In fact, I know that for a fact that during their live episode of Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, and I think it was season 3, it was a Halloween special, that a lot of people were tweeting in things that I saw that wasn't even brought up during the episode. And so I know that happens, but this is the first time that I feel like I actually caught something that they didn't. At least as far as I can remember. So that to me felt awesome that I saw this thing that they didn't see. But it made me kind of wish that Ghost Adventures would do the tweeting or Facebook thing like they did in that Trans-Allegheny Asylum episode, like all the time. Which is something I actually tried to do with my web series, Forgotten Haunts, and, well, before that, Forgotten Ghost Towns. And that's something that we've always stated, is that our evidence review team is our viewers. Because we're not watching the footage before it's put out on YouTube. We're not pre-screening the footage. We're just putting it together in sequence and then releasing it. And then people are free to leave comments about what they saw at what time in the video. So you could write, saw a shadow figure at 1 minute and 23 seconds in, what have you, and then we can be like, oh, cool, so we did catch something. You know what I mean? But we're not watching it. We're not reviewing it before you do. You're actually reviewing our footage. At least that's what we've attempted to do. We have not had a lot of viewers, which I don't understand. I've advertised the shit out of it. But our day will come, I guess. But I think that would be a cool thing for TV show to do more live episodes. And you can't tell me you can't do it with live TV because it's live. You would just have to be broadcasting live like all the time, which I know would be a, a feat, really, logistically. I bet it would be a nightmare. But there you have it. That's just throwing ideas out there, I guess. But here's the thing, too. It also made me feel like there's something big, potentially huge that Coastal Paranormal can do in that department. And it's like this idea just on the edge of becoming a full-fledged idea. You know what I mean? Like, it's just right there, and it hasn't quite fully formed yet. But when it does, you'll be the first to know. Another idea that I've had somewhat recently is doing something like on some kind of video broadcasting platform where, like, all the investigators have headsets, right? And GoPros, like infrared GoPros. And it's broadcasting live, and people viewing can log in and talk, and we can actually hear them over the headset. Only thing is I don't know how to do that logistically and technologically. I don't know how to do that, and I don't have the money for like a whole bunch of equipment. Maybe I'll do like a GoFundMe thing or something. But wouldn't that be cool? I don't think anybody's ever really done that to that extent, anyways. Anyhow, next topic. I talk about this almost every single episode of the show. It comes up almost every single episode, and nothing lights my fire like closed-minded people. Case in point, I watched I've brought this up before in a previous episode. I watch a lot of videos on YouTube from other people. Like there's one guy named Chills. He puts out these top 15 videos, like top 15 scariest ghost videos caught on security camera or whatever. And he would often ask his viewers the question, do you believe in ghosts? If you do, leave a comment in under the video or whatever. And I'm like, wow, that's a pretty cool idea, whatever. But on one of his videos, I actually replied. I said, yeah, I do. The reason I do is because I see them. I've seen them since I was 5 years old and pretty much died. And there you go. And then, like, this one person, hold on one sec. So this one person made some snide, ignorant comment uh, about ghosts aren't real, and I kind of laughed In fact, my comment back was, LOL, right, and the earth is flat too, right? Because in this day and age, to not even be open minded to the possibility of it, to just flat out ignore every single piece of groundbreaking evidence that has been discovered on TV shows and videos and just everyday people that happen to be in the right place at the right time, to sit there and say that is so downright ignorant and arrogant. And that's and let me qualify, by the way. I've said this before, I'll say it again. There's a big difference between a skeptic and a closed-minded person. Skeptics are necessary for the paranormal field because they are the reason why there are all these nifty gadgets that we ghost hunt with. Closed-minded people, however, it doesn't matter how good the evidence is. It doesn't matter if an apparition appeared right before their eyes, they would write it off as something else, and they would try and find an explanation for it, because they absolutely refuse to believe the simplest explanation. Which, by the way, believing the simplest explanation is actually a scientific principle called Occam's razor. And as scientific-minded people, these closed-minded people absolutely refuse to see the validity of what just happened before their very eyes. That is a extreme form of arrogance and ignorance. And that just gets under my skin, and I kind of pity them in a way. Them to me is kind of like, they're almost as bad as I don't know. I don't even know what to compare it to. The only other thing that irks me almost as much is investigators that like only see the negative because that's all they're looking for. Because that's the thing about the paranormal world. Like, you're gonna find whatever you're looking for if you're actually looking for something. If you approach it with an open mind, like I try to, even though I have no interest in the negative if I can avoid it, I'll be honest. Um, Not saying that everything is rainbows and puppy dogs, but for the most part, when I investigate, I'm not just randomly uh, looking for it. I'll be surprised by it sometimes, but that's just how it goes. So, yeah, that's just one of my personal, I guess, pet peeves, I guess, is that. And I used to have a problem with the Ghost Adventures crew, actually, for that reason, because more times than not, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for the negative stuff. And there's so much more than that. the paranormal world is far more beautiful and radiant than than shows like that would lend credence to. But I also get it. They kind of have to look for the negative stuff because they have to do what the TV execs want. And the TV execs want ratings, and ratings, let's face it, is usually the negative stuff. And so, it's like, sorry, hold on one sec. Sorry, I heard something outside. Um, so, yeah, it's just, I don't know. All I'm saying is people try and have an open mind. Don't write anything off just because it seems impossible to you. Because, people are always doing that to themselves. I mean, like what was it, like 400 or 500 years ago? Whatever. People thought the Earth was flat, and it's obviously not. And then, you know, uh, like the new one is thinking that we're alone in the universe. Mathematically, that belief doesn't even make sense. You're telling me then that in a world where there are billions upon billions of cells in an atom, that we are in an entire universe made of billions upon billions of stars and planets and moons and everything else, that we are alone. Doesn't that seem arrogant? I don't know. That's just me. So I recently, well, not too recent, probably like a month ago now, did an investigation on the USS Saturn, um, which has a very interesting history. Actually, it was a lot of different things during its lifetime. It was a ferry boat, um, and during World War I, it served this country, transporting Thomas Edison's experiments back and forth uh, across the ocean during World War I, um, trying to improve conditions at the war front. And I guess a lot of people don't realize what an impact that guy actually had on that war, but it was big. Um, but we did an investigation there, and I was I already put the video package for it together, and everything, and I think I did actually get it on YouTube. Or I was trying to, and then something got weird and it wouldn't let me or something. I don't remember. Um, but one thing I do know is that recently I was looking over that footage again, and where the USS Sachem is it's actually on the Ohio River, kind of dry docked. Like it was basically just parked there and abandoned by its last owner, and the banks are really muddy and slippery and everything, and I slipped and I fell, and I was filming things actually on this laptop that I'm using to broadcast right now. And so uh, I slipped and fell, and when I fell, I cracked my head on the edge of this laptop, and I was actually bleeding from my head. Um, and it wasn't on digital recorder, so it wasn't an EVP. This is actually disembodied voice. Um, After that happened, I like stood up and I wiped the blood from my head, and I said, "We got my blood now. Are you going to show yourself?" And on the video, you actually hear. You got to listen to it really, really close. Turn the volume all the way up. Have headphones on, but there is a voice there that says, "Yeah, I will." So, you know, check and recheck your own stuff, and let me tell you, because I get surprised all the time. It- I've gone over evidence like that's 5 years old and found new stuff. Like one of my favorite ones that I played on this show, the EVP from the Alexander Commons building, uh, to come and find me. I'm in the building. There's actually more to that, which I will discuss when I come back for part two. So tune in again. I will be right back with part two. This session is